wasn't grown up in my but I wasn't grown up in my
Today I'm making South African Koeksisters. For the dough you need 4 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of butter, 4 heaped teaspoons of baking powder, a little bit of tartaric acid, a little bit of, and then you just mix quarter of a cup milk and 3/4 of a cup water. For the syrup that I made beforehand, you need 8 cups of sugar and 4 cups of water, a teaspoon of cream of tartar, a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of tartaric acid. You put it on the stove and you boil it for 7 minutes. Then you just let it cool down and put it in the freezer, in the deep freezer, so that it is very cold. You put the butter into the flour and then you rub it in the flour so that the flour looks like breadcrumbs. Always when you mix some dough, doesn't matter what kind of dough, you have to let it rest for at least 10 minutes for the flour and the ingredients to incorporate, so then you get a better result. Also, when you roll out the dough, you roll it out on oil, not on flour, because if you use the oil where you bake the Koeksisters in, you use the oil, then it is that doesn't leave a residue at the end of when you finish your baking, and maybe you can use the oil again for something else. When I roll out the dough, you will see there's 2 kinds of braiding. The one is like ordinary braids that you braid hair like. The other one is like in two, you just take the dough and cut a little piece in the middle open and then push it through. You mustn't braid it too tightly because then there's no space for the dough to expand. It mustn't be too thick or else you will not be able to braid it properly. But I think like in a centimeter maybe. Cut it in proper pieces and then you start. When you finish the braid, then you just push it down hard so that it does not come loose while you bake it. Another way to make it is just make it a little bit thinner, because that is for braids of 3, so you need now only for 2. So you cut the slice or piece open in the middle, and then you push the one side through, so it also looks like a, see, I struggle a little bit, just take a knife and then you cut it in the middle. I struggle a lot. It should have been easier if I take the knife from the beginning. You have to open a little bit in the middle, and then you pull it through or push it through, and then you get a sort of a braid. It looks like a braid when you bake it. It doesn't matter. Just a different kind of braid that you make there. So that's the 2 kinds that I make today. And it really doesn't matter how you do it. The last one, you get like in more out. So you can decide for yourself what you want to do. So my carry bag that I cut open, my trustworthy carry bag, I put that over so that it does not dry out. See, the oil must be deep enough. If it's not deep enough, it will fry at the bottom, the cook system. I tasted the oil, but I think it was a little bit cold because the cook system does not come up in the right time. Just stays a little bit at the bottom there. It comes up only now, and it should have comes up earlier. I usually prepare the syrup the night before because the syrup needs to be ice cold. You take it out of the boil directly into the ice cold syrup, push it down so that it can suck up all that juicy sweet syrup, and then it's okay.